Geoholic.
Little dirty red dirt.
30 miles on the Gulf Stream.
Ooh.
I hear the south wind moan.
Gotta let this one get in there.
The bridge is getting lower. The shrimp boat's coming home.
That's good.
The old man down in the corner slowly
Almost there.
turns his head.
I promise.
Takes a sip from his whiskey bottle and this is what he said. I was born in the
There it is. I knew it was coming.
underneath the Louisiana.
Man, I love this song.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I love the song, and I never knew who sung it. I mean, obviously, in today's world, you could probably like Google that shit and figure it out, but I
Yes.
never did. And then when our guest this evening selected this music, I was like, oh, that's who sings that song.
Yeah, that's cool. I like this song.
So here we are, episode 217.
A little bit different for old 217.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
I hope. I think we got it all figured out.
I think we put a studio together about 50 yards from the beach here, so we'll see if we can pull this off.
Oh, man. Welcome back, Geoholics. As I said, episode 217.
Yeah, 217.
Yes. This is going to be a fun one.
It is.
We got a house full tonight.
Yeah.
And as Sean mentioned, this is a great story. Sean was in Ocean Beach vacationing this week.
Yep.
Obviously.
'Cause that's what I do.
Sean's life is a vacation. And I had to be out here today for some work meetings. And I'm like, dude, we are coming to your Airbnb and we are going to record an episode.
That's right.
And he's like, all right.
And here we are.
And I pack all this crap and I show up here like 20 minutes ago. We going around crazy plugging shit in. Like, God, I hope this stuff all works. And here we are.
Of course. It'll work great.
How's your week been, man?
Pretty phenomenal.
Good.
Played golf yesterday.
Did you play on Coronado?
Played on Coronado.
How was it?
Awesome.
Nice.
It's a
Public course?
Municipal course.
Yeah.
Awesome course.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommended.
Hmm.
Play right along the
Maybe
bay, right with the bridge, the Coronado Bridge that comes in. You kind of play right under that.
Mhm.
Just a really cool spot. Weather was great.
Yep.
It was just, good times, good friends.
Yep. And I brought the sunshine.
And it's been a little cloudy for the last few days.
Yep.
And Kent shows up and it was sunshine all day.
Brought the desert. So as I mentioned, I had work meetings today.
Yeah. You said those went really well, huh?
Met with some our good friends at Geo Engineers. You'd love these guys. They are geotech people.
Oh,
in
really?
addition to being multifaceted and other things.
They are my kind of people.
Yes. In fact, we'll make some introductions. But the funny thing is, we had a great conversation about the synergy between our two companies and this and that, and which lasted about a third of the conversation, right, while we're eating. And then all they wanted to do is talk about the Geoholics after that. It's like, this is so surreal.
Right?
It was so funny, but great people. And you know what? We're going to get them on. They're going to be on the show.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I said, for once, Sean's going to drive the show, and I get to sit back and do the color commentary
Oh, okay.
because it's all geotech.
Oh, yeah. That's my cup
That's
of tea.
right in your your wheelhouse.
That's
as
what they say.
All right, let's get on with this. Tell us about that opening number.
That was a band called the Band of Heathens.
Of course,
These guys, an American rock and roll band from Austin, Texas.
I love Austin. You love Austin.
Yeah, I was just there. This is the first time I've seen so many live bands in like a short time. There's just live bands everywhere.
Yep.
These guys originally formed by Colin Brooks, Ed Jurdy, and Gordy Quist in 2005.
Mhm.
Originally, each singer-songwriter performed his own set.
That's
However,
pretty cool.
they eventually started sharing the stage and collaborating with bassist Seth Whitney. And I think their peak was in July 2009. They taped an Austin City Limits show that aired in the fall of 2009.
Always a springboard to success.
Yeah,
Austin
always.
City Limits. Yep. I love Austin.
Yeah,
Love Austin.
and especially in good old fashioned rock and roll bands that come from Austin have to be good. Have to be
Indeed.
good.
My oldest daughter, the reason I'm out here in San Diego this weekend, main reason, is my oldest daughter, McKenna,
Mhm.
is running in the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon. And she was just in Austin like a week ago for a bachelor party. And she's like, you know what, Dad? If I had to live somewhere outside of Phoenix, I think it'd be Austin.
Oh, really?
She loved it.
Okay.
She loved it. All right. We are, this is funny. We're in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studio tonight.
This is the Diamondback Land Surveying Studio.
This is awesome. Hey, you.
Hey,
How
look,
are you? Good.
A little Lexi Faber appearance.
Lexi sighting. It's a little bit about Diamondback Land Surveying. They provide complete surveying and mapping and construction staking solutions for residential, commercial, and public works projects across the West Coast. DBLS is a firm made up of highly skilled professional land surveyors with over 200 years of experience in the public land survey system and construction surveying. Their survey teams take great pride in being professionals in all aspects of their work and emphasize on-time service that maintains an excellent reputation in the construction and development communities by consistently providing top-notch service to their clients. Find out more, go to www, I know you don't need to say that, diamondbacklandsurveying.com. They are dedicated to building and maintaining an excellent reputation. You know, I was just thinking.
And they have one.
You know, I was just thinking.
What's that?
If our guests tonight happen to want to be friends of the program next year, when they come back on, we can talk about them versus Diamondback Land Surveying.
That would be a
Wouldn't
really
that be
cool
nice?
thing. Yeah.
That'd be great.
If that was a thing, if that was possible.
It could very well be possible. We'll find out. If this goes well, you never know.
If this goes well.
All right. Next up, the GeoMax Weekly Service Pro Tip. What do you got, Sean?
This brought to you by GeoMax, geomax-positioning.com.
Damn.
I like this one, actually. Customer service is the experience we deliver to our customer. It's the promise we keep to the customer. It's how we follow through for the customer. It's how we make them feel when they do business with us. That was Stephen Hyken.
I think his name is Shep.
That says Shep Hyken. Award-winning keynote speaker and best-selling author.
Stephen Shep.
It looks kind of the same.
It doesn't matter.
I'm glad I didn't say Stephen Hawking, because that's what his name kind of looks like.
It kind of does. And I would not have faulted you for that.
No, not at all.
All right. Next up, we have the GeoSearch Career Corner. This is a fun segment. I love this one. This week, we have some professional pointers for hiring managers to streamline the hiring process. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is everything good?
Yeah.
Tip number 1. I will take this one. Define the position clearly. Outline requirements and preferred skills up front and set a salary range to ensure you are working with the right candidates.
Tip number 2, precision sourcing. Precision sourcing is key. Anticipate future talent needs, research referrals, identify competitors, and utilize platforms like LinkedIn and job boards to find the best fit.
And that's a good one. I like that one a lot. Tip number 3, when it comes to the interview, preparation is paramount. Collaborate with other interviewers, ask unique questions, and keep the conversation engaging and natural. Interview is so key.
It really is. And tip number 4, don't forget salary negotiations. Walk the candidate through the offer, highlighting the big picture, team culture, and exciting perks. Paint a vivid picture of their future with your company.
Huge. Is that Louis?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And remember, you are not alone. If you need assistance, the GeoSearch team is here to help. Visit their website at geosearch.com for more information. And like they like to say, happy recruiting. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Grab him. Come get him.
That doesn't happen in the normal studio, but we love it.
Right.
We love
Right.
it. Yep.
All right, keep going.
Hey, have fun. Speaking of interviews, as most of our listeners know, I worked for your company previously.
Yeah, that's right.
Were you there on my interview? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I wasn't there.
You weren't there? And I still got hired?
Somehow you still got hired.
That's amazing.
I don't know if I interviewed you, if I would have hired you.
You would just take one look at me and said, we're going to be best friends. That's what would have happened.
Right.
That's what would have happened. All right. Let's.
Are we ready to get our guests in?
We got to get our guests in. We got a mitt full.
That's right.
As they say this evening. And of course, our guests are presented this week by Airworks. A little bit about Airworks. We don't talk about them enough. Their mission is to provide the data intelligence that powers the built world. I love that. So they can support the development and construction that needs to happen to support our rapidly changing world. As uncontrolled urbanization and climate change disasters continue to threaten humanity, that sounds serious, increasing the speed at which we can analyze the world around us becomes crucial to building faster and with intention for all. What do you think about all that?
Pretty cool place.
To find out more, go to airworks.io. All right, let's get our guests in here. They've been waiting patiently, and we really appreciate that. Just FYI, have fun. Sean did buy us a bottle of mezcal.
I did.
For the episode.
Yes.
Which we greatly appreciate. Okay, let's do some self-introductions. Real quick, let's go around the horn, starting with Amanda. Amanda, let's go with name. who you're with, what you do, and what your high school mascot was.
All right. My name's Amanda Allred. I'm a vice president at SAM. I work in organic growth. And my high school mascot were the Reserve Mountaineers.
Reserve Mountaineers.
Interesting.
Was it in New Mexico?
Yeah. If you know where Show Low, Arizona is, it's just across the state line from Show Low. So big mountains, big elk, all those types of things.
Wow, that is awesome. Tiana, why don't you go next?
So my name is Tiana Magdemo. I am the events manager with SAM, and my high school mascot was the Vikings.
The Vikings. Okay, that's pretty traditional.
Where was that from?
Where I grew up, there's a very large Scandinavian population. I am Scandinavian, so I think that's how they got the mascot.
Interesting. I like it. That makes perfect sense, as a matter of fact, right?
It
Was that in
does.
Massachusetts, Tiana?
What's that?
Was that in Massachusetts?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Okay.
I like it. All right, Tyler, last but not least, what you got?
So Tyler Trujillo, I'm with Surveying and Mapping. I'm our Director of Mountain Area Operations for Surveying and Mapping. And my high school mascot was a pirate.
A pirate.
Okay.
And that was where?
Little town in Salt Lake Valley, Magna, Utah, the high school Cypress Pirates.
It's the Cypress Pirates.
Cypress Pirates.
Okay,
What was
sure.
yours, producer Sean?
I went to Walter M. Williams High School. We were the Bulldogs.
That's pretty traditional.
Yeah, it is.
I was Forest View Fighting Falcons.
Fighting Falcons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All good stuff, right?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Before we get rolling here, we got the Trimble Geospatial Icebreaker. Trimble, of course, is dedicated to big thinking innovation. Together with their worldwide distributor partners, the Trimble Geospatial team is working with current and future generations of surveyors to create a more sustainable future. So we have to do an icebreaker. I like the high school mascot thing, but I have one question for the three of these guys.
Okay.
If you could instantly change one thing about the world, what would it be and why? Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, geez. I'm drawing a blank on this one totally. So there's too many options, I think. So I'm going to punt to Tyler.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
We're
Thanks,
easy here.
Thanks, Amanda. It's crazy. Like I got my oldest daughter just graduated high school yesterday, and we tried so hard to delay allowing them to use smartphones. So for me, if I could change one thing about the world, like I would cut out about 90% of social media.
100%. Totally agree with that. Tiana, how about you?
The first thing that came to mind would be removing illness. I think COVID really revealed a lot and how hard it was and challenging. So if we could remove one thing from the world, I'd choose illness.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I didn't think about that.
So obviously, there is one thing in common with our three guests this evening, and that is they all work for SAM Inc., right? Which is one of the reasons we're here. So we want to talk about your individual stories for sure, but we also at the same time have to incorporate, some things about SAM. And one of the things I'm very curious to learn more about is, what is life like at SAM? What is the culture like? And Amanda, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're the largest geospatial company in the United States. That means non-engineering. So we try to stay away from engineering as much as possible. And we have 1,500 employees across the nation with 49 offices. And what that amounts to, in my mind, are a lot of small companies that combine under one big umbrella. And so what attracted me to come to SAM was the fact that surveyors can be surveyors, and we let the other professionals handle all the back office stuff and the important stuff like event coordinating. Those professionals get to handle those things. And so the culture for me at SAM is really, it's a big company with individual hometown quality feel to it with the individual offices and their own feel. Every office you walk into at SAM is different because obviously, they're in different cities, they're in different places, and they all have their own feel.
Got it. That's pretty unique. Tiana, how about you? What's your perspective on the culture of SAM?
the biggest thing that I can say is it's very people centered. So everybody helps each other out. If you have a question, you can always go to a colleague, even, the C-suite. It doesn't matter. We all work as a team. And I love that about our culture.
Yep. That's important. That's huge. How about you, Tyler? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think our culture, it's a very team culture. We, as Amanda mentioned, we have offices all throughout the country. So each pocket has its own unique culture based on, just the culture of the environment that you're in. But at SAM, we're all, very team oriented. We all work towards the same goal. We're trying to break down barriers, in silos so that we can, leverage resources throughout the United States. As Amanda said, we have 1,500 employees nationwide and some really smart folks here, not just surveyors like geospatial minds, data scientists, marketing professionals, legal teams. So we all get to come together and try to create this cool, unique environment, for clients, for the survey profession as a whole.
Sure.
I mean, you mentioned 1,500 employees and you say 48 offices?
49.
49 offices.
49
So what are some of the things, all three of you commented on, teamwork and collaborating. How do you do that with so many offices and so many people?
Yeah, it's a special way to work. And for instance, we're really starting to set up sites of excellence and the people that have the expertise in certain areas. And so we have an aerial group, and we always approach them if we need aerial acquisition. And we have a GIS group that we acquired in Missouri, and they're fantastic. And then we just made another acquisition in New York, and they have a lot of digital twin capabilities and modeling. And so it's really it's still that small town feel because we have area managers like Tyler is. Tyler's over almost everything west of Texas, and we have really on-site expertise. And so even though it's so big, we still are managed in kind of a small way where everybody still knows who to pick up the phone and call. And if I don't know who to talk to, I get Tyler on the line, or if it's something in marketing and something in that department, Tiana helps me out. And so it's like a network within itself of individuals within the company that are experts at their own right.
That's awesome. So I heard you say a couple things there, Amanda, about acquisitions. So obviously SAM is in the growth mode, right? And it seems like these days you're either in the acquiring mode or the being acquired mode. And it's exciting to hear that SAM is in the acquiring mode. So you guys have an aggressive growth strategy, obviously, right?
I'd say, yeah, we do. And probably the acquiring slowing down a little bit. We have a major footprint on the East Coast and in Central America and Midwest, and obviously Texas. But our strategy is changing as we look towards the West, and we're going to be looking towards more partnerships and less acquisitions.
Interesting.
Ultimately, because the main goal at SAM isn't to absorb everybody and just take over the world. It's actually to provide strength and opportunities for smaller companies who don't have an aerial team, who don't have, BIM and those kinds of capabilities. And that's really our goal as we start looking towards the West. And that's one reason why I was so excited to start at SAM and to work for people in the West like Tyler, who can appreciate the companies that are here.
Right.
And it's not our goal to necessarily acquire all of them and bring them under the umbrella, but to work in a cohesive environment with people.
Hey, Amanda's saying all the right things. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly.
She's saying all the right things. So, Tyler, talk about your background just a little bit, and how long have you been at SAM?
So I've been at SAM for about 10 years.
10 years, wow. Okay.
I celebrated my 10-year anniversary in January. My background, I fell into surveying like most folks. I had a scholarship to be an airline pilot straight out of high school, and I think about a month before school was about to start, I got a letter in the mail. I only had plan A, so I got a letter in the mail, and it said, "We regret to inform you that the pilot program's been canceled. You're welcome to leverage 2 years of free tuition, but you're going to have to pick something else. So,
Oh, wow.
I had a good friend that I grew up with in high school. We did rodeo stuff and hung out on dirt roads, and his grandpa, we hung out at his grandparents' house a lot because they had a big 5-acre field, and we'd have BB guns out there and chase around the cattle. His grandpa would always come home with 4-wheelers and these big yellow boxes, and I'm like, man, that looks cool. I don't know what your grandpa does, but that's pretty cool. And he's like, well, he's a surveyor, and I'm like, oh, cool. So we'd have dinner there every couple nights, and he said, so what are you going to do after high school, Tyler? And I said, well, I don't know. Plans got shot down. And he said, well, I'm the chief cadastral field surveyor for the Bureau of Land Management.
Wow.
And we have this awesome program called the SCEP program where, we can bring you in and, give you a summer job, help with tuition reimbursement.
Wow.
That sounds awesome, man. I love dirt roads, and it sounds like you're on dirt roads all the time. So let's do it. And I started out at the BLM age 17 and went through college, graduated from Idaho State University, got my license pretty early on, and had a full-time job with the BLM and stayed there for about 6 years. I was pretty young and motivated, so I always felt like, once you get into, federal government jobs, nothing wrong with it, but advancement, career advancement, moving up in the ladder, you can be somewhat limited at times. So I decided it was time for me at a young age of 22 to leave the BLM and go explore the private sector. And so I worked with 2 small civil engineering and survey companies in Teton Valley, Idaho, and Salt Lake City. And just kind of learned the nuances of their business. I understood what was going on in the private sector, and just realized 5 years at the BLM, 2 years each at 2 small civil engineering companies. I didn't see myself there for 30 years. So I had an opportunity to join SAM about 10 years ago, and thought that there was potential for a much higher ceiling career path, and the rest is history. So,
As they say. I love it. Amanda, I want to hear your story here in just a minute, a little bit about your background on surveying, because it's super interesting. But Tyler, one thing you mentioned, it's like you got an amazing opportunity right out of the gate working for the BLM. That was like someone just dropped something in your lap there.
Yeah.
Just talk about your mentors a little bit. We talk about mentorship and the importance of it all the time on this show, but highlight your mentors.
Yeah. So you and I wouldn't be having a conversation right now if I hadn't started at the BLM. I can promise you that. If I got thrust into the survey world on a construction site, pounding stakes, I said I need to go to school and learn something a little different. So the BLM it was amazing. I had some of the best mentors, 20, 30 years experience. We were doing, cadastral surveys throughout the state of Utah, original boundary retracement. It was the framework for the cadastral landscape of, a lot of most all of the Western United States. And one thing I've learned working through the private sector is there's a lot of pressures to be able to have the bandwidth to mentor like I think we should. And at the BLM, you're given a budget at the start of the year. Sure, you got to work through reimbursable dollars, but, at 5 p.m., you just shut your cell phone off, slide it in the door and go home. And, you show up the next morning and there's no fires to put out. And a lot of the mentors I had, Dan Webb, Ron Baugh, Ross Workman, Frank Prophaser here in the Utah BLM, I showed up into surveying when I was at the front end of a age gap in land surveying where nobody in their 30s and 40s were surveying. So the youngest surveyors, when I started in my early 20s and late teens, they were probably in their early 50s. And there was just nobody else. I don't know what happened to the profession, but we had about 15 to 20 years where nobody was entering this profession, or at least it seemed like in Utah and the Western states. So they were just like craving some, young blood to come in and like mentor, because they were about to exit and they wanted somebody they could pass on their knowledge to. So I spent 5 years just like pulling up a chair and, working with some folks that had 30, 40 years of really good boundary cadastral experience, just that could spend 2 hours with me and really teach me about things. I spent time in the field with them, and they weren't pressured by, I got a meeting in 30 minutes,
right,
or I got a budget to meet, or I got these, business goals to meet. So the BLM was the right start for me, I feel. It was great.
All right, Geoholics. Got to introduce a new friend of the program this year, Aerotech Mapping. Aerotech Mapping has been supplying high-quality geospatial solutions, services, and support for the AEC industry since 2002. They've completed projects across the U.S. and abroad using the latest technology and resources, combined with a highly educated and experienced staff. They specialize in large-scale, design-level photogrammetry for a variety of sectors within the AEC industry, including aviation, transportation, energy, commercial development, mining, public works, and wastewater, just to name a few. Their mapping is produced under the direct supervision of an ASPRS certified photogrammetrist, and they've invested in the latest equipment and technology to ensure that they meet their clients' challenging demands. At Aerotech Mapping, they take great pride in the work they do, all created by an amazing team of professionals. To find out more, visit atmlv.com.
Yeah, that was golden for sure. You and I have a similar background as far as like when I first got into surveying. I worked for a small survey company in Southern Illinois, and our biggest contract was with the USDA Forest Service. So all we were doing when I first started for the first probably 3 years is, sectional retracement surveys, and I was holding the dummy end of the tape on a 3-person job. Don't say anything, Sean. Traversing through the freaking forest of Southern Illinois. And it was amazing. I'm just like, I'm so blessed to have had that opportunity. And it sounds like you kind of had a similar opportunity as well. And once you hit that, you're hooked. But I agree with something you said. There's like, if I was like just getting into the profession and I get thrown in a construction staking crew, I don't know if I would stick with it. Right. Because you have to get exposed to like the big picture. Construction staking, yes, it's surveying, but it's not. You can argue that, whatever. But that is not the surveying that people get passionate about. It's that retracement stuff that people get.
Well, that's what you got passionate about. Like some people get passionate about different things. So
I suppose.
Yeah.
You mean the whole world doesn't revolve around me, Sean?
Yeah.
In my opinions?
I know.
Since when?
It's hard.
When did this
hard
start?
to believe that, but yes, that there are other people with other perspectives.
Jeez, now you tell me. All right, Amanda, let's talk about your background a little bit. I know we've probably done it before, but it's really interesting. Love to hear it.
All right. Well, I grew up in a really small town in Glenwood, New Mexico, and 21 graduates from my high school class. And my dad was on his second career. He had retired from the state police and as an investigator for the Attorney General's office in New Mexico, and became a realtor in our little small town, and couldn't get surveys done. So he decided he'd make his daughter into a surveyor. And so I went to New Mexico State and started in the civil program, but a guy from the BLM actually came and showed up and was talking about the same program that Tyler got involved with, the SCET program.
Oh, wow.
And there were opportunities to go to Alaska. And I was like, all right, I'm becoming a surveyor. So I listened to my dad and applied to the program and didn't get accepted. And I was like, because I always get accepted, things I try and the things I do.
I am just naturally gifted at everything.
I'm totally humble.
Totally humble.
Anyway, I got a job that summer pounding hubs in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And if you know anything about Las Cruces, New Mexico, it's about 5 degrees cooler than the surface of the sun in July. And so I made it through June and July and pounding hubs all summer and eating menudo from the burrito ladies.
Oh my gosh.
The best. Monday morning because everybody was hungover. And so I think Trent Keenan has similar stories in Las Cruces. So long story short, the BLM called at the end of the summer and said, hey, all our students are going home. You want to come up? And I was like, do I want to come? And so I did the same thing and got on a plane at 18 and didn't even get a hotel room in Anchorage. This is how young and naive I was. And so I get out in Anchorage, and I spent 4 years in Alaska working for the BLM, and actually transferred schools and went to school at the University of Alaska at Anchorage. And then and between all that, I've owned my own company. I've worked for the DOT in Alaska. I came back and worked a little bit for the BLM in New Mexico. I did a lot of job hopping. My dad, I think I just drive him nuts because he came from that generation of, you get a job, you stick
Stay there
with
for
the job,
30 years.
And then you retire.
Yeah.
And then you might do a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, long story short, I ended up with the Corps of Engineers in Washington State working on dams.
Yep.
I loved that job. I thought I would be there forever, but life always throws things at you. And so I had the opportunity actually to come back to New Mexico and work for SAM, and just jumped on it. And it's
awesome.
It's probably, I kid my boss all the time, but it's probably been one of the best experiences of my life.
Awesome.
And they sent me to Salt Lake when I first started, and Tyler showed me the ropes at SAM for about 10 months. And
how long have you been, Amanda, 10 months, how long have you been at SAM?
Yeah, and end of July, it'll be a year. So.
Oh, okay, right on. So you've been riding Tyler's coattails for the last 10 months is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So.
Hey, it took 10 months for me to run her off.
Oh man, that's awesome. Say, Tiana, let's loop you into this. What's it like for you not being a surveyor, working with a bunch of surveyors?
It's interesting because it's a totally different
I
field.
love that. It's interesting.
It is. But ironically, I kind of did sort of work with surveyors because I used, my background is in events management, and I used to manage events for Carhartt, and the surveyors use their product. So I would have to be out on the field, dealing with surveyors and going to construction sites. So a little bit of background, not much, but.
So how did you get on, with that background, how did you find this opportunity at SAM's?
So I started working in events when I was 17, and I knew that was my passion. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree in marketing, and I just kind of, with a small detour into teaching, I pretty much stayed in event management, did a little bit of sales. And I did take some time off to raise my 2 kids. And I was looking for a job back in event management. And I saw this position with SAM open up. And I applied. And here I am.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So being that you're the event coordinator with SAM, you guys have an event coming up that we have to talk about. It's the SAM Technology Symposium. Talk about what it is, when it is, and how folks can get involved with that. Sure.
So the symposium is taking place in Dallas at the Hilton Anatole on June 25th. It's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we are showcasing all of the technology that we use with our services. So we have, GIS, we have CEI. We're going to have our Navis system.
Yep.
We have a virtual reality experience. You can, kind of go into a substation and see how all of that works.
Cool.
I mean, it's really incredible, the technology that we use. So we hope that, you can come out and experience it. It's free. So, yeah.
So who is the target audience for this event?
Land surveyors, anyone who's within the survey community.
Got it.
Yeah, probably GIS folks, anybody that's interested in learning more, about what SAM does or land surveying in general, or even any of the geospatial solutions that we provide.
So Amanda, are you going to be at this event selling or telling everybody about everything that's great about surveying? And you and Tyler, what's going on?
Now we might have to be. So I don't think it was on our schedule. So.
All right. Well, let's go one step further. Are the Geoholics going to be at this event?
Oh,
yes,
that's
free.
great.
That's great.
You can come, but we're not paying for nothing.
you are more than welcome to come.
It's free. Otherwise,
the bar
it's
is
free.
open.
Check out anytime you like.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
How many people do you think are you planning to show up? How big of an event are we talking about here?
Well, the conference, this is also in conjunction with the C conference, which is the Southeastern Electric Exchange. And they're estimating about 1,900 people are going
Dang,
to come out to
that's
that
awesome.
conference. So
That's awesome.
we hope that as many as that will come out to our event. Everyone's invited. It's free. So
Awesome. So are you guys promoting it on social media and the other platforms like that?
of course, we're a lot of promotion on LinkedIn. That's our primary source. But of course, all of the other social media channels.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and to reach surveyors, I told them, we need to promote this on Geoholic. So
There you go. Love it.
Yeah.
Sean's got dog issues, so excuse him for having a holiday. Oh man, this is so fun. So let's circle back. Okay, so Amanda and Tyler being surveyors and being in the profession, coming into the profession in different ways, being involved in the profession at so many levels for as long as you have. I love this question. What are some things about land surveying that you love, and what are a couple things that drive you crazy about it? So Amanda, I'll let you go first.
I think first and foremost, what I love is the history, and spending time in those back rooms, because there's nothing like going through old original plat maps and field notes. And I guess Tyler and I were probably spoiled that we got to have our hands physically on those things, working in the actual BLM offices. And now that's a little impersonal. This is all online, but one of the things that does drive me nuts, when I was working for the DOT in Alaska, there was something new we had to learn, and I was complaining to one of my counterparts, and she's probably a 65-year-old woman, one of the first female land surveyors in Alaska, and I was like, man, come on, I got to learn something new, and she looked at me and she goes, Randall, that's the best part of our job, and it was like, all right, you're right. If this lady at 65 is telling me to, suck it up and learn something new.
Wow.
But it's a really, at this point in time, that's a moving dot constantly, for us
100%.
With the technology. But I always rest well that the history and the records are still there, and that's what we rely on.
Yeah, 100%. So that woman that you mentioned, how long ago was that when she was part of your life?
That was probably 8 years ago.
Oh, not that long ago. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So was she one of your mentors, Amanda?
I didn't spend that long with her at the DOT, but I had a lot of great female mentors. I worked for Dominica Van Coten when I was in the Alaska field office, and as you know, she is currently the chief cadastral surveyor, the head of the BLM, and I worked for a great lady with the Corps of Engineers in Walla Walla. Her name was Julie Davin. She was a career with USACE as well, and just some strong, knowledgeable females. And so I think I was spoiled, at New Mexico State. Steve Frank actually brought in Wendy Lathrop. And so I was never under the impression that women didn't do these things, that we weren't there all the time. And, in the middle of all these things. And so when people are shocked that women do this, I'm always like, I don't know where you've been, but man, I've been with some great ones.
Yeah. And you've been very outspoken about that and the diversity that goes along with land surveying, and have played a huge role in that, 100%. Tyler, one of the things I want to make sure we talk about is, Sam has this managed geospatial services. And I'm just very curious to get a better understanding of what that exactly entails. What does that mean?
I would say, a lot of organizations are already doing this. Sam was already doing this, but we're trying to frame this up a little bit more. So, I try to relate it or draw an analogy to, as a surveyor, a new technology comes out. Let's call it laser scanning, the Navis. And you're like, I need to buy that. I don't know why, but I just need to buy that and go and sell it. Like that thing's cool. They're going to love it. The market's going to love it. I'm going to run out. I'm going to talk to all my clients. I'm going to say, you need this, go scan some things. Like you're going to love it. You're going to love what it produces. But managed geospatial services, to me, and I think this is what we're getting at here is, let's start with the solution. Let's go talk to our clients. Let's talk to the shareholders. Let's understand more about how the data drives their business and understand, let's start with the end goal and then let's back it out and understand what service lines we have, what technology we have, proprietary software we've developed, and it all bottles up into this solution. Like these are the ingredients for managed geospatial services. And once we understand our clients' value and how we can bring value to them, we go back to the drawing board, put together the ingredients, and deliver that for them. So I feel like that's what managed geospatial service is to Sam. And I know a lot of companies do that. We have the luxury of having, 1,500 employees, tons of technology, multi-disciplines, and the people to drive home managed geospatial services a little bit differently. And one thing we're looking at too is data management. So after the task order, or after the project's been delivered, we house this data, right? And we have machine learning and AI, and how can we now start to use those functions to even drive more value into that organization? So to me, that's what my understanding and the organization's understanding of managed geospatial services is.
But how do you communicate that to your clients? And maybe it's more of a marketing question, but how do you put it out there to everyone, all of your clients, that to tell them about all the great technology you can use and what they can get out of it? Yeah, and maybe that's a question for Tiana too. Like, how do you market that you guys use the best technology around?
I think not every client. You have different levels of clients. Not every client's going to understand that or have the budget for it or need all of that. That's why I say you don't just find a service line or find a technology or find a tool and try to pitch that to them. Just stop with all that, listen, develop a solution for them. And not every client's gonna need that, want that, give you access to that. But we're trying to be emerging and change that mindset, change that market. And at the end of the day, that's what we do. They pay us for value. So
they pay us for value.
Yeah.
I freaking love that. I'm going to make a note of that one. They pay us for value. And the thing is, it's so interesting because our clients, and I say our because I'm in the same industry, the problems become more complex all the time, right? And if you are not on top of the technology and on understanding the tools that you have in your toolbox to solve those problems,
right,
you're behind the 8 ball.
But is there, can I ask the question, does getting into a new realm or, going from traditional to scanning, does that inherently bring on more challenges? Or are there more complex problems? Are you creating your own complex problems?
I think it brings on more solutions is what it does.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
More opportunities.
I think the problem
more
is...
opportunities. Yeah.
Sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, I think the challenges are with data, it changes the way you do business.
Yep.
Where I grew up, traditional surveying is clients bought labor hours, and so you had to balance how do I sell more labor hours? And with technology, it's clients are buying projects now. Yep. And it's interesting. I heard a metric last year in a leadership meeting, and Sam's got a wide range of folks in this business that 2/3 of our organization now is office-based.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereas you used to look at traditional organizations, the way to drive revenue and margin was to hire more people, get them in the field, collect the data.
Get them utilized.
And you probably had a small portion of office staff that managed a much larger portion of field staff. So data acquisition, data collection, solutions are done behind the desk nowadays. We still have a need on the geomatic side and professional services side to have, staff in the field. And I don't think that'll ever go away. But when you look at the volume it's created in today's world of geospatial services, that's the challenge. And then with that comes all the IT infrastructure,
Right.
how you manage that technology, how you understand that technology. It's a much heavier lift than it used to be, where, the crews that show up after a day's work and come into the office and plug their data collectors into the computer and, going to be working on it the next day.
Yeah.
2/3. That's amazing. 2/3 office.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and to further break that down, I got some statistics for you. So it's a 70 to 30 office to field ratio, 1,100 office employees and data analysts, and 400 field employees. And so if you're talking 400 field employees, you can kind of calculate the amount of crews that are going out every day in SAM vehicles. And then the people that are waiting in the back offices ready to compute that data. And really the opportunity that exists for us is to house that data and then to help our clients make smart decisions from that data, utilizing AI and all of these new technologies that we can. They have the question, we have the data, and we can hopefully provide them the answers. So one acquisition, multiple uses. It's all the things that will hopefully drive down costs for our clients and increase the value of what we're producing for them.
I am curious about, on the acquisition side, you guys, are you finding that some of the companies you're acquiring are not on the same level with, are you acquiring a bunch of companies, the main question, that have just a bunch of traditional surveyors and you're converting them into more of this digital age?
Modern day.
Are you finding that everyone else is kind of on the same field?
Yeah, I would say
a lot of the acquisitions are based in areas that where people are experts and people are doing cutting edge things and people that we want to bring in and that will supplement SAM and bring value to the company. We're very, very strategic about who we even approach and then who goes through the process. It's not a simple process. I'm sure you guys know this. Any acquisition is not simple, and so there's long-term goals. And we hope that those align, and that for the long term, that the employees that we acquire, we want them to stay, we want them to be happy, and that the cultures match in the long run.
This portion of the program brought to you by Cyanic Automation. I'm so glad to have these guys back. Cyanic Automation is a boutique software development house based in Canada. Y'all know how much I love people from Canada. Mike and Doug, love these guys. Met at Matricon in 2003 and worked on many projects for high-profile Fortune 100 companies. Mike saw a large market of SMEs that also needed to automate their processes, but at the same time was not being served. From this need emerged Cyanic Automation with the goal to improve human productivity and fulfillment at work via automation. Their enthusiastic, devoted, and highly skilled team works to deliver exceptional custom software solutions to small to medium-sized businesses. They have long-term relationships with companies in various sectors: government, oil and gas, finance, charities, nonprofits, construction, engineering, manufacturing, and many more. This is a result of their deep understanding of customers, businesses, and commitment to quality. Each project is of the highest importance, and every customer is unique in their eyes. To find out more, visit cyanic.automation.com. You know what? I was just talking to somebody about this. Gosh, it was today, as a matter of fact. We're talking about how a lot of surveyors that have been doing this for 30 years, they've got their small company, right? Mm-hmm. And they're getting to the point where they're done, right? And it's unfortunate that they don't have an actual succession plan, right? An exit strategy per se. And somebody comes in to want to acquire them and they think it's worth $5 million when it's worth like freaking $1 million, whatever, put it into perspective. And it's a sad state of affairs when that happens, because surveyors are not great business people typically.
When you have a lot of good people that have worked for that company for a long time.
100%.
And they're kind of sitting there like,
Yep.
what do we do now?
What do we do now?
Yeah. And
Yep.
it's unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's traditionally overvalued because
Yep.
a lot of the value they think is the assets they have, which, unfortunately, they aren't worth
Physical
what they used to be.
assets, if they're bought and paid for.
The employees are one thing, but it's the rest of
What's
it.
the real value, because there's no guarantee the clients are going to stick around
No.
throughout the acquisition. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
And
Amanda.
that's timely. It's really timely because we just lost a surveyor that had worked for 40 years in Las Cruces, and Trent Keenan actually got his license underneath him. And it's heartbreaking when the family has to hear that the value of that company was with Kerry, and the value of his company was with the clients he had. And unfortunately, when that one person is gone, almost all the value of the company goes. And they were asking, well, what about the records? We have all these records, and it's like, I mean, people want those records. They certainly do, and there is some value to them, but it's certainly not what you end up thinking in the long run. And when my husband passed away, and I told those guys, I mean, this is a tough conversation to have, and I don't want to be the one that has to tell you this, but I'm going to be here and sit here and tell you this, that's not where the value is, unfortunately. So it lied in the individual you lost.
Yeah, for sure. Firsthand. Absolutely.
I would say
go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, lesson to be learned there is from what I've heard, and I've been around a lot of pretty good business people, and I have some good colleagues that are in this business and have small businesses. Lesson to be learned for anybody considering, starting their own business is don't walk into it without an exit strategy.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And get that exit strategy soon. Fortunately, my husband sold his business in Fairbanks 2 months before he got diagnosed. And it's crazy to me that he spent 40 years in that business and then didn't get to enjoy the benefits of selling it in the long run, unfortunately. But life's crazy like that.
Right. I mean, it is.
Yeah, for sure. What else? What do you guys want to talk about? We can talk for hours. It just depends what direction we want to go with this.
Maybe we talk a little bit about people. We're
so
still
you guys.
in.
So that's a good point because I want to talk about that. I have seen so many postings on LinkedIn recently of people that I actually know moving to new opportunities with Sam. Right?
Okay.
So what are you guys doing to attract the top talent?
And we're assuming the top talent are friends with Kent on LinkedIn.
Yeah. That's the only top talent that's out there. That's the only top talent that's out there.
Right.
So what are you doing to attract the top talent, and what are you doing to retain the top talent?
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at that one. Compensations there. One of the great things about surveying today, different than it was 10 years ago, is I think the market, the industry is starting to see the value in surveyors. We've molded a business around attracting top talent, paying them a competitive salary, but understanding how we can leverage that value of those individuals to work with the tools that we have to still drive good business results on bottom line. So, and I would also say, I've worked for the BLM, 2 small engineering companies, and the 500-pound gorilla like Sam, But I would also say that one of the things that is attractive to me about Sam and that helps us attract a lot more talent is our ceiling is so much higher. And the exposure you get to markets, to the United States as a whole, your opportunity there. A lot of people, and you've probably heard this before. I hear it all the time. I left the company because I was too motivated, and I needed to wait till that guy retired before I could move into his position. And this organization's business model is to do.
That's why I left Alta. The only way I was ever going to get to the top is if Sean retired, and I knew that was never going to happen.
Right.
So I had to go.
Sorry,
Tyler. Keep going.
Yeah,
you're good. So I think that's how we attract folks, and I've always been of the mindset after 2 years, if I know if I want to be there for the next 25. And so, sitting here 10 years later after I started, it's like, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted, and it worked. So,
yeah, no, a lot of the freedom that Sam has afforded those people, when we do get those people, I think there's a lot of freedom there to decide what you want and to make your own goals. And I think that's one of the top reasons why people end up over here.
Yeah.
I have two questions. Is most of the staff, I mean, they got 49 offices. Is everyone kind of tied to an office, or is it a lot of remote and hybrid working? And the second question is a 500-pound gorilla your mascot?
It's the fighting 500-pound gorilla.
Well, if it's out of Texas, we might need maybe a 500-pound armadillo.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But seriously, on the hybrid work thing, do you have guys working, people working in all over for all of the offices, or is it a little more regional and people reporting to local offices?
Yeah, and that's morphing as we speak as well. And Tyler can certainly speak more on the.
Yeah,
on the
I think 10 years ago when I started, we had maybe 10 offices, 700 people. It was very, individual offices, kind of had their own P&Ls. We looked at that. It kind of built some barriers around our ability to leverage resources across the areas that we did work. And then we started expanding, acquiring companies. We're now at 48 offices, but COVID blew things up for us. We had to send folks home. People learned how to work remotely. People built a lifestyle around working remotely. So I think today we've, my office probably has 25 employees, and 8 of them are remote right now. And that was as of like 4 or 5 months ago. We just did a reorg, so now we're learning how to like break down those silos of this office versus this office versus this office, and we've built regions and areas. And so now, I could if I wanted to, but I don't even see statements on how well each location is doing. We're an area focused now, so what that does is it breaks down the silos. It allows folks to leverage resources across multiple offices to be successful. So.
Yeah,
and we have field crews that deploy from across the region, and so just because we have an office in Salt Lake and one in Austin and one in Midland, it doesn't dictate where the crews necessarily come from.
Sure.
And so I think the future for Sam and some of the big companies will be to leverage AI and assigning projects and doing those things and really determining people skills and then making the computer figure out how to assign those things more efficiently based on all our skill sets. And if we can determine what those skill sets are on a level that is equal across the country and across the region, then those sorts of determinations can be made much more efficiently. And we can keep our workforce busy. We can reduce layoffs. We can do all those sorts of things. And I think that's where we're headed at SAM, is to break down those silos and to work more as a region and keep people busy in a more non-competitive, in a more culturally sound environment instead of a cutthroat, competitive environment.
Yeah. I was just talking in one of my meetings today about the importance of, forming these strategic partnerships, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's so important. I mean, like Amanda said, breaking down the silos. It's not all about, it's not all about Sam. It's not all about DEA. It's about the partnerships we form to make everybody better. Everybody better.
Well said.
Right.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, I do.
You want to be my partner?
I kind of do.
Oh, well, see, that's the way it goes around there. That's it. So, Tiana, I want to hear your perspective. I mean, you're more kind of like in the marketing event side. Talk about, how you view Sam and why top talent is migrating towards this company.
So Sam really values continuing education. And in fact, in my role, I am currently working on a certification. It's called Certified Trade Show Marketer.
Ooh.
And I should be
We should get that.
graduating this fall. So I handle all of Sam's trade shows. So I love that we're all about continuing your education, no matter what your role is within the company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and along those lines, we have a 100% tuition reimbursement. So just to plug that a little bit.
Wow,
100%.
Hey, I want to go back to college.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that would go. I don't think they want you to go back.
You're like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be the Will Ferrell of old school.
You're my boy, Blue.
I'm okay. You're my boy, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. So I'm not sure who is best suited to answer this or to address this this comment here, but you know, a company like Sam, and I'm a big LinkedIn person. I follow everything that's happening for the most part in the various companies, and it's really refreshing to see a company like Sam also focused on the broader community. You know, whether it be the community that their offices are in, or the associated, the associated professions that they're in. Who wants to talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's really key. Don't everybody jump at once here.
I'll start.
Rose up a little bit.
So we do track hours of community service, as part of our, environmental, social governance. Every employee, each office, probably 3-4 times a year, donates time to the food banks. I think in Salt Lake City last year, we had so much snow and rain that, one of our initiatives was to get all of our staff out to fill sandbags. And our families went out there and filled sandbags. So stuff like that. Like every office has initiatives and we have trophies and competitions internally, who can donate the most amount of food, per employee, that sort of thing. Amanda said we do 100% tuition reimbursement. We're very active in the education and those donations. We have internships, we have scholarships, all that stuff. So, Amanda, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah. And I think one of the things Sam really encourages and seeks are those people who are giving back to not only to their communities, but to the organizations and to the colleges that we came from, and to participate and go to those events whenever they're hosting stuff to expose kids to surveying in general. In a couple weeks, we're going to go to New Mexico State, and they're hosting the New Mexico Prep Academy. And we're working in conjunction with the New Mexico DOT and CSDI and others to actually just get surveying out there and tell people about it. And as well as encouraging participation with our local chapters and state organizations. And Sam actually has the upcoming president right after Linda Foster is a Sam employee, Tim Murphy from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And that the time and devotion that takes away from the company is, I think, signifies how important it is. And Sam recognizes that we have individuals in those positions that are helping to determine the direction of the land surveying community as a whole. And so Pat Smith being a past president of NSPS, all those things are totally encouraged and supported. And that's not always the case at all companies. And the value in that for the greater community of surveyors, I think, is huge. In Tyler, Texas, we actually even, Chris Cox was just telling me that they set up that office in conjunction with the Tyler Community College just to have a place to put students to work. And so that's why that office was built there. And the idea is that it's close to the community college. They can almost walk, I guess. And literally that's going to expand across the country. We're talking about that in the Leadership Summit, and how can we do that in other places and continue the efforts that are being put towards those educational efforts. Because if we don't, there's not going to be a lot of surveyors left, And so not only does that benefit Sam, but it benefits the whole geospatial community as a whole.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the show right there.
I know. It's like
Amanda stealing the show.
I know. Again,
as always, this is the way it normally goes.
No, Leo will do it. I guarantee you, he's more popular than So he's, I think that's what attracts the great people that come to this organization, are the Tianas and the Tylers and the people that are just passionate about what we do, and we love what we do, and we carry that forward. And I think if we can help people be placed in a great spot, even if it is within SAM or not. I know you get calls all the time, Trent and Kent, from people going, "Hey, what do you have here? How's it like to work over there?
Yep.
What's going on? And the honesty that comes with that, I think that's where the true value is maybe this isn't a good fit for you right now, but something in the broader spectrum, because we're so large, oftentimes does work out for people who are really interested in coming on board."
Yep. Yeah, really good stuff. So what, we'll go around the horn on this one. What are you excited about in the next, say, 1 year, 5 years? Obviously, Amanda, you and I are friends, and we communicate periodically. And I know when you took on this role at SAM, you were super excited about it. What's the outlook for you?
Yeah, the outlook is good. It's golden. I think looking at what we're going to do in the West, to partner, have more partnerships out here with all of Tyler's contacts and all of mine combined. I think we can bring a lot of value to the community as a whole, and see how we can benefit the region, and not just it's not about taking, it's about supplementing to us, and that's really what I'm excited about. And to see how that is going to benefit the students and the people that are coming out of this organization, and in the communities that we still live here, because a company of this size has to give back and will give back. And that's what's important to me, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Tiana, how about you?
What I look forward to in the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. All of my events, I like to bring experiential marketing into the mix. So anything that's hands-on, anything that's engaging. And so, having that VR experience, bringing more technologies into our events, and really looking forward to that makes it more engaging.
I love that. So Tiana, there's a little event called Energeo in Germany.
Little event. It's like the largest geospatial conference in the world. You should talk to whoever you need to talk to attend that event.
Okay.
Yep. Sean and I will be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Hey, they didn't kick us out of Germany last time.
I think they're going to let us back.
I think they're going to let us back. Yeah. We'll take the invitation as a positive.
Right.
All right, Tyler, how about you? What are you excited about?
I'm kind of excited to see where technology takes us, with the one thing I've always seen with technology is like it's the rate of acceleration with how quickly things evolve. Like, what used to take 10 years takes 5 years, now it takes 2 years, now it takes 10 minutes. And so like the evolution, the acceleration of technology is pretty incredible. I always rest on, you got to be a professional surveyor, you got to understand, the legalese and all that stuff. And that's where, comfort comes from. But, surveying geospatial as a profession is just evolving at a rate that we've never seen before, and it's going to get quicker. So I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. I think those are our tailwinds in this industry. Some of my, headwinds, concerns in this industry is, the infrastructure in the United States needs to be upgraded and rebuilt so quickly that do we as a community have the people,
we don't,
the bandwidth
we don't
to support this, and there's the answer, right? And so what happens to legislation, what happens to our boards, what happens to, you have to hire a surveyor to protect the health and welfare of the public. That's my concern. From a headwind standpoint, but there's a lot more tailwinds, in my opinion, than dealing with that. So.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I like that optimism, because there are some headwinds, but the tailwinds are pushing
more substantial.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And I don't know about you guys, but it smells like job security to me.
Smells like mezcal to me.
Oh yeah,
that's the ocean.
Oh, is that the ocean?
That's
The ocean smells like tequila and mezcal.
It does. At least at this beach house. All right, guys. Before we let you get out of here, we do have a question we ask everybody, and I'm going to go around the horn, and I hope you're prepared. But the question is, do you have a mantra that you live by? And I will start with Tiana.
The Geoholics Book of Mantras. No pressure. It's going in the book. No pressure.
No pressure.
Always be honest.
Love it.
I love that. Yeah. All right. That's good.
I'll keep that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a keeper. What about you, Amanda?
My new one is turn the page. So it's
Love it.
yeah.
Good one, Amanda.
All
And Tyler?
Tyler?
I would say be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. And
that one- I think
that one's close to Kent's heart.
Tyler and I are like brothers from another mother.
Kindred spirits.
Something. There's something going on here.
I told you you'd steal this. I knew you would.
That's great.
yeah. Hard work equals luck.
Love it. Love it.
But man, Tyler is full of them tonight.
Hey, Tyler's the man. Tyler's the man. Anything else you guys want to
You
get
need
out?
to have him on his
Go ahead.
You
Amanda.
need to have him on in his own right, Kent, I think. So he deserves his own show.
Well, don't worry.
Hey.
Something tells me Kent and Tyler are going to become close friends.
Yeah.
No comment. No comment.
Anything else you guys want to get out before we wrap this up?
I don't. I want to thank you guys. Yeah, I appreciate it for having us on. You guys are great. I appreciate what you guys do for the survey community in general. Good job.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. We know the pay's not good to be sitting out there by the ocean, but at least the
I'm
company
riding
is, I hope.
Sean's coattails.
Right.
How about you, Tiana?
Please go to sam.biz or info.sam.biz to register for that Dallas Technology Symposium. We hope you're going to be there. Again, it's June 25th from 5 to 8 in Dallas at the Hilton Anatole.
June 28th in Dallas.
Fantastic. Wait, you know what?
And one last
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go.
One last thing. I was just talking to talent and acquisition, and there are over 120 job vacancies with Sam alone. And
Wow.
so if you're looking to make a move, go to sam.biz
Yep.
and check out what we've got open.
I mean, they do make a pretty good case.
Indeed they do.
Right?
Indeed they do. All right. Well, thank you guys. This has been a great conversation. Apologize for all the hiccups and everything. We are, in fact, in a backyard trying to make this happen.
Hey, closest podcast to the ocean, I can tell you that.
At the moment, for sure.
Right.
All right. Adding value and making friends. Check that box.
Yeah, we checked it.
Bingo. If anyone would like to be a guest on a future show, shoot us an email at info@thegeoholics.com. Band of Heathens.
Band of Heathens.
I think it might be one of my new favorite bands.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on the playlist.
The song is called Hurricane, available everywhere. Until next time, everyone, check out Sam. Check out their technology symposium. Visit sam.biz. Always be honest. Turn the page. Be vulnerable. Most importantly, stay classy, Geoholics.
Oh, there it is.
She's hot, she's cold, and she's mean. But nobody taught her it takes a lot of water to wash away New Orleans.
It does.
It's happened, though.